Andres from Doble A Sports back with another Mexico National Football Team video as they compete in the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Mexico just played their second game in Group A against Suriname and won by a score of 2-0, 2-0. This time for Mexico, it was a more convincing win, keeping Suriname scoreless and punishing them for their mistakes and blunders in this game. In the first half, Mexico was definitely the better team. In fact, for most of this game, it was very clear that Mexico was the better team. A less mistake-prone team, to be more specific, as Suriname in the first 20 minutes of this game were turnover machines with the ball. Unfortunately, Mexico's offensive front was unable to get the ball into the net on any of these plays, and as the defense began to settle in a bit more for Suriname and stopped making these bad mistakes of giving the ball away, this definitely felt like a missed opportunity for Mexico, with the game being tied 0-0 at the halftime break. However, with Mexico's defense doing a great job stopping Girano Kirk and the Surinamese offense from having any decent shots on goal for most of this game, this enabled Mexico to punish any more mistakes that would come from Suriname, and that was exactly what happened in this game. While Suriname's defense stopped giving the ball away in the second half, their defense on corner kicks was horrible. This enabled Javier Aguirre and Rafa Marquez's corner kick strategy that allows the more defensive players to move up and contribute to work to perfection again in this game, with César Montes scoring both goals for Mexico in this game. César Montes, congratulations to him, scoring a doblete, a brace with the national team. That is now 3 goals for him in just the first 2 games of this tournament alone, and he was arguably the best player on the field in this game. With Montes' 2 goals and the defense playing well and shutting down Suriname's offense, Mexico was able to go through the motions to, those final motions to close the game out well. With this win, Mexico has also guaranteed their spot in the quarterfinals. The only question remaining now is if they will finish first in the group and be that higher-ranked team from Group A in the quarterfinals. Final score, Mexico wins 2-0 against Suriname with a brace from César Montes. Here are Mexico's grades for this performance. Goalkeeper, A. Luis Angel Malagon was the starting goalkeeper once again. He made the 2 saves on Suriname's only 2 shots on target in this game. One was a shot from distance that he made a good dive to deflect away with his hand. He also had one really good clearance in the second half where he slid and kicked the ball well out of the box area. Outside of that, he went through the normal motions without any mistakes. A clean game for him. Not a single blunder. Nothing to complain about from Malagon. Center backs, A+. Johan Vázquez returned to the starting 11 after fully recovering from his ankle injury, and he started alongside César Montes. Nothing new from Johan Vázquez, as he again had a great game with 3 tackles, 1, and a few takeaways as well. With Johan on the field, the defense definitely plays better, and César Montes especially plays with more confidence playing alongside Johan, who he played alongside at the youth levels and in the Olympics as well when they won the bronze medal. As for César Montes, he had the best game of his national team career. Like I said, with Vázquez back in the lineup alongside him, Montes played with much more confidence, más confianza in himself, helping out well in the 13 takeaways the defense had against the Surinamese, as the Surinamese tried and failed to counterattack with the ball. Montes played with so much confidence tonight to where he was even able to push up and contribute offensively, scoring both goals. On the first goal, he was wide open to receive the ball and put a perfect header on it. It was a great play where, like social distance during the COVID-19 pandemic, no Suriname defender was standing within 6 feet of him, and the seas parted for him on that goal. A perfect play by César Montes. As for the second goal, Montes easily gets past the Suriname player trying to guard him. He gets his head to the ball again. This time he ends up falling onto the play, but Julian Quiñones is able to bring the ball down in front of Montes, and Montes was able to shoot, and he scored even while still on the ground. Incredible. Montes was the best player of the game, defending well and scoring a brace for his third and fourth goal respectively for the national team. Chiquete Orozco came in as a substitute for Johan in the final 15 minutes, and he did his respective part to help close the game out for Mexico with a tackle won as well. A great performance from the center backs and arguably the best game of Montes' national team career. Wingbacks B. Jesus Gallardo and Israel Reyes were the starting wingbacks for Mexico. Starting with Jesus Gallardo, I thought he was okay, good at times, but he did need help when it came to defending Girano Kirk. As you did see, Mexico defensively try to double team him at times, especially on the left side where Jesus Gallardo was in most of this game. As for Israel Reyes as their right back, he did have one or two slightly shaky moments in the first half, but outside of that, I thought he held his own better than Gallardo. He had 4 tackles won in this game, which is good for a defender, and he did have 54 accurate passes. My one point of criticism for both wingbacks is that I wish they could contribute more offensively. Israel Reyes hardly pushed up with the ball possession, and while Gallardo did, his crosses and services into the box were not great. This is why I wish we could have seen Mateo Chavez be given some playing time, as I think Chavez would have helped in regards to the ability to contribute offensively. And then, of course, while he isn't here on the team, you wish Rodrigo Huescas was the starting right back, as again, he can both defend and contribute offensively. And with that, you have to imagine that Huescas, he will be the starter when he returns from his suspension. But overall, though, for the time being, I do think they played better. Gallardo and Reyes, I think they played better in this game in comparison to the first game against the Dominicans. And Reyes especially was much better than Jorge Sanchez. Midfielders B+. Edson Alvarez and Marcel Ruiz were the starting midfielders. Edson Alvarez played well as a defensive midfielder and a third center back, playing a part in helping the defense keep Suriname scoreless. He also had 4 shots in this game, most during the first half amid Suriname constantly turning the ball over. Nothing came from those 4 shots, unfortunately, but I do respect the effort of him trying to create offensively. As for Marcel Ruiz, in his 72 minutes of play, he was easily the next best player on the field after Montes. His stats from this game, here they are. 37 accurate passes out of 40 pass attempts with the ball for a pass accuracy percentage of 93%, along with 5 ground duels won and 3 aerial duels won. He was great on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. He looked like a complete midfielder and was involved in many of the takeaways in the first half as well. He was eventually replaced by Luis Chavez, who didn't do much at that point in the game with only 17 minutes left, but did his part in helping close the game out for Mexico. And thank goodness Tronco Rodriguez did not start or get any playing time in this game. Not that he was needed or should be part of the team going forward, because Ruiz had a performance that should make them forget about ever playing Tronco Rodriguez. Offensive front, B-. Alexis Vega and Piojo Alvarado were the starting wingers. Vega provided the assist on Montes' first goal as he provided the corner kick into the box. Good work from Vega there. However, outside of that, Vega really didn't make much of an impact offensively. I'll say the same thing for Piojo Alvarado. He looked like the same player we see at Chivas, where his form was completely stagnant. I felt both lacked energy in this game and played a bit slower, which is not great. Chino Huerta came into the game and once again made an instant impact. He almost had a goal that was called offside due to Angel Sepulveda being ahead of the defensive line. Again, I am surprised Huerta did not start this game, and he really should start the next game against Costa Rica. As for the forwards, Raul and Julian Quiñones were the starting strikers in this game. In the first half, both were very active and taking chances with the ball, but had nothing to show for their effort. Julian Quiñones was credited with the assist on Montes' second goal, as he did bring the ball down with his chest to the ground, which allowed Montes to score the goal while he was on the ground. That definitely counts for something. I'll give Julian Quiñones that. Outside of that, I noticed Julian Quiñones was very good individually. His dribbling was very good. However, his passing was a bit off in this game. That will be something to look for him to improve on. Santi Jimenez came into the game as a substitute for Raul, and Angel Sepulveda later came in to replace Quiñones. Sepulveda went through the motions, but it was a very quiet 20 minutes from him in the game, and was offside on what could have been a third goal. That goal for Chino Huerta, not great there. As for Santi, he did have one not so ideal opportunity to score, but the ball was too far out and he had to kind of reach out with his leg for the ball. Nothing came from that. He mostly just helped keep the ball away from the opposing players in the final minutes as Mexico tried to close this game out. Honestly, in this game, the offense really didn't produce like many expected, with the wingers playing very stagnant football and looking slower on the field in the first half. This is definitely not good and something that needs to be worked on, because if Mexico wants to improve in terms of offense and scoring goals, it starts with creating plays and opportunities in the run of play, which they hardly did in this game. Head coach, B. Javier Aguirre, in my opinion, got most of the starting 11 lineup correct. However, I do think he should have started Chino Huerta, and he needs to start him going forward if he wants the offense to be able to produce more. He kept Charlie El Tronco Rodriguez on the bench, as well as Jorge Sanchez, which was good. The strategy he and Rafa Marquez created of having the defenders push up on corner kicks is working well, and Aguirre once again established a good defense. The only thing that is missing is that creativity offensively and finding ways for the team to be able to score in the run of play. Look for Aguirre to work with the players on improving this. I also really want him to give a chance, some playing time, either as starters or substitutes, to Mateo Chavez, Gilberto Mora, and Julian Araujo. Mateo Chavez, we have already seen, has the skills to be able to contribute more on offense than Gallardo. Araujo is in the Premier League as a Bournemouth prospect, and Mora is already a starter for Cholos at, just 16 years old. These guys are the future of the national team. This tournament is the time to give them some reps and develop them. Outside of that, it may not have been complete domination, 4 or 5-0, just complete blowout. But Aguirre's coaching has so far got the results the team needs, and his team is in the quarterfinals. Final score, Mexico wins 2-0 against Suriname. Mexico eliminates Suriname from the Gold Cup and guarantees their spot into the quarterfinals of the tournament. As for an overall grade for the team in this game, I will give Mexico a B+. A much more convincing win that saw the defense and midfield play well, but more work needed to be done offensively to be able to score in the run of play. More work needs to be done there for sure. Mexico's final group stage game will be on Sunday, June 22nd against Costa Rica, and while both teams have guaranteed their spot in the next round, this game will still be important for both teams, as it will decide who will finish first place in Group A and be the higher-ranked team with likely an easier matchup in the quarterfinals. For Mexico, they will need to either win or draw against Costa Rica to finish first in the group. But if they have the opportunity to win and send a message, they will certainly try to do just that. Andres from AA Sports. Leave a like and subscribe to support my channel. Also, feel free to see my videos for my performance grades for Mexico in their game against the Dominican Republic. I will put a link to those videos in the description and in the comments. Folks, thanks for watching and listening. Viva Mexico.